First time I got arrested was in New York City on 7th Street. And 7th Street was a bad street for me.
No good.
No good. Because I later on I ended up meeting this chick that lived on that same block and then just went crazy.
Okay.
Like on some like breakup shit or some fucking thing, right? 7th Street.
No good.
Don't go to 7th Street. And they sell heroin on that street.
What were you doing? Throwing up a little tag or something?
Yeah, a tag, and then I got rolled on by some undercovers who were just in the car, like whatever. And then I get bagged. They take me to Central Bookings. It was hot out. But it's fucking freezing down there. The tombs are always cold.
Okay.
And so I'm in there, right? And I'm like, fuck, like whatever. And then there's this big ass kid. He's like probably 18 or some shit, and he's like huge, this huge kid, and he comes up to me and he's like, he's asking everyone what they're in there for. And then I had said, I forget what I was telling people, like skateboarding or something stupid. I wasn't saying graffiti, right?
Yeah.
And then I see this kid coming up to me, huge kid, and he's like, hey man, he's like, what'd you do? What you in here for? And I was like, I just felt like I had to tell him. I was like, graffiti. And he's like, oh, word? He's like, what do you write? And I told him, and he's like, that's you for real? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, hell no, man. He's like, I see your shit everywhere, man. This dude that I sold some shit to, I seen your shit right above the fucking bridge and all this shit. And he became my homie in there. This big ass dude, right? And then that was like my homie in jail, right?
Okay.
And then he's like my protector and shit. And there's sketchy ass fools in there in Central Bookings, New York City. And then me and this dude are homies and shit. He's talking the most shit. Like he's rapping in there and shit. He's going off. It was pretty sick.
He's a local?
And then, yeah. And then get out. I do community service. Tompkins Square Park, the park that all you guys did your little benefit and shit for. I've cleaned that park so many goddamn times.
Oh, seriously?
For community service. That should be fucking named after me, dude. I clean that park like a I'll tell you something. If you have to do community service in New York City, do that shit in the wintertime because there's no trash. Nobody goes to the park. There's no trash. There's no dog shit. It's all you do, you just go there, you fucking get an ice pick, and you have to break ice. It's the easiest.
Good advice.
Do it in the wintertime. Yeah. Summertime, no bueno.
No good.
And do not do the subway in the summertime because you go in the subway cleaning up trash. It's hot as fuck in there. So wintertime, outdoors, do it. And find out who your community service, the boss or whatever. Just pay attention and see what they're eating in the morning. Bacon, egg, and cheese is what mine ate. I'll get a bacon, egg, and cheese before I show up to fucking community service. Here you go. And then he'd be like, he's like, thanks, man. He's like, just go over to the park and get lost till we got to sign out. I'm like, all right. So I was running off to the edge of the park, and then I'd stash my garbage bag, and then I'd go and just cruise around, put up stickers, write on some more shit. And then, oh shit, it's fucking like 3 o'clock, time to go check out and sign out. I'll go find a trash can, like not in the park, put all that trash in my trash bag and show up with a full bag. And the dude was like, sign me out and I'm out of there.
Just for a bacon, egg sandwich.
Bacon, egg, and cheese, man.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
And then, so during that time, community service at Tompkins is this famous artist named Dash Snow. He's a graffiti writer who wrote Sace. And super famous guy. I knew who he was. He didn't know who I was. Okay. This is still like people don't really know who I am in New York. And he got busted for graffiti too, but he got like a breaking and entry charge or some shit.
Oh, wow.
But he got bagged, and then he's doing community service, and then I get paired up with them. They pair us up, and then some dude asked me, he's like, what'd you get in? What are you in here for? And I was like, I'm gonna say graffiti. I was saying some other. I kept changing my story, but I was like, I know who this dude is. Like maybe if I say graffiti, he'll know whatever.
Oh, okay.
So I was like graffiti, and the dude and Dash was like this, looked at me like, oh what? And then they're like, oh yeah, what do you write? And I told him Neckface, and then he was like, oh, like he was like, you know, like he found out who I was right then and there.
Wow.
And they paired us up, and I knew who he was, and we're like going around talking shit. We're like getting frozen dog shit and throwing it at cabs. And then he tells me, he's like, hey, by the way, I write Sace. And I was like, I know. And he was like, how do you know? He was like, what? And I was like, oh, I just know, whatever. And then we became like homies right there. And this is before anyone like really knew who I was in New York. And then this dude, Dash, he went around to all his homies and his crew. And he pretty much vouched for me for like all of downtown. He was like, yo, fucking, I know who Neckface is. It's just like this little Mexican metalhead. Like, he's a sick kid. Like, we did community service together. Okay. And so when I met all these like ill graffiti writers and like other like big downtown guys, they're like, oh yeah, you did community service with Dash. Like, you're the homie, whatever. Oh. So he kind of put me on and shit.
Vouch for you.
Rest in peace, Dash Snow. And then that was in New York. Oh, so the blackout happens in New York, the famous blackout. I'm walking across the Williamsburg Bridge with this chick that I'm trying to holler at, right?
Okay.
And then I'm like, we're walking across the bridge. It's hot as fuck out. And then I hear, yo, Neckface. Yo, Neckface. And I turn around, and it's the big ass dude from Central Bookings.
Yeah, right.
My homie from the Tombs, dude. Okay. Huge. Big ass dude. And he comes up, he's like, man, fuck that place. I had to do community service, fucking all this shit. I just got done doing this bid, fucking whatever, like thugged out dude, right? And then we're walking across, he's rapping, he's talking shit, whatever. And he's like, all right, Nick, I'll catch you later. And he just keeps walking. And then this girl that I was with was like, who was that? And I was like, no big. I was just locked up with the homie. Like,
shit.
No big deal. She's like, really? Like, got all psyched and shit. Okay. Girl's like,
bad boy.
Yeah, bad boy, dog. Yeah. And yeah, that was that story. And then the next time I got arrested, let me see. I got arrested in Boston. And I was out in Boston. I got some friends from Needham. And so we'd go into the city and then start painting in the city, and we're painting on the highway. And I was like, fuck that. I want to be right where the cars are. So I'm right next to the cars, like on the highway in the medium. Oh, painting shit. And then these fools are painting like a little bit deeper, like across the tracks and shit. And I'm doing my shit, and I look over the pillar, and I see these dudes getting wrapped up. I see them getting bagged. I'm like, oh shit. And then I look back, or I look to the side, and I see the cop coming after me. Oh. I'm like, oh, hell no. So I fucking jump over the fucking barrier, and I run across 4 lanes of freeway traffic. I'm fucking running. I'm like, this fool ain't gonna chase me, fucking fat ass. I'm like, I'm out of here. I jump, boom, I'm running, and then he's coming. Oh. He comes right across the highway after me, and in the middle divider, he fucking gets me right at the middle divider, and bow, he slams my ass on the medium. I'm like, boom, hit my fucking chest on the barrier and shit. And then
cars are still zipping by.
He fucking stops the cars, or what, I can't remember, but puts me in the paddy wagon. My homies are in the paddy wagon, like 2 dudes that I've been to jail with the most. Okay. Like, these dudes are like
bad luck.
Not bad luck. We roll together all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
But so we get in the paddy wagon, and whatever, we already know not to say shit in the paddy wagon, like whatever, maybe they're listening or some shit. Okay. So we get in there, and it's me and my homie, and then our other friend, we're like, damn, I thought our other friend was getting wrapped up. And as soon as we say that, we hear boom. We're like, what the fuck? And the whole paddy wagon shakes, dude. And then he gets in, and then later on we found out that he was like, he got loose a little bit, and he was running, and then he was like, he ran kind of towards the paddy wagon, and he was like going like this to like stop himself for the paddy wagon, and the cop went pulled his hands down, and he just went bah and hit his face on the paddy wagon. And then they brought him in and shit, and then we're in there and nobody's saying shit, and then we get let out. The fucking cop opens the door, and he's like, you fucking idiots, we heard everything. You're going, fuck, we heard you talking about fucking da-da. And we're like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, fuck, we didn't say shit. Right. Yeah. This fucking dude thinks he's fucking Charlie Bronson or something. And then, so we're in jail in Boston, and whatever, we're like in our own cells and shit, and then we're just like, I'm in there with homies, so it just becomes like some like We're just like, it's fun now.
Yeah.
We're like making beats on the wall. Boom, boom,
You're making the best of it.
They're like, shut the fuck up and shit. Like, whatever, like eating donuts and shit. They gave us donuts, and then I was like, you gonna eat your donut? To my homie, he's like, nah, you want it? And he fucking puts his hand out of the cell and he goes, slides it, and I catch that shit on the other
ground.
side. Yeah. And I go eat this donut and shit. And then
your big homie showed up.
And then big homie wasn't there. Okay, but so we get out of there, right? And another part of the story. We could have bailed ourselves out. It was like $80 to bail yourself out.
What?
Some shit like that. Yeah.
$80
it was like some stupid, like I'm pretty sure it was $80 to bail yourself out.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't that crazy of a charge, or I don't know what the fuck. But we were at the dog track earlier that day betting on fucking sausage fingers, and that fool came in third place and fucking lost all our money. We all didn't have money, so our homie's aunt had to come and bail us out and shit. And then I think I gave her like $100 or something, like, oh, sorry for your trouble or something, which is like even more of a diss. But yeah, we didn't have any cash on us because we were betting on dogs earlier that day.
How many days did you spend in jail?
That shit was like a day and a half or some shit.
Okay.
And then we got out. And then when they got us out, they were like telling us about all the community service, where to go to court, and the cop was being like a dick. He's like, so you know how to get to the courthouse? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, you're gonna go left on this street and don't do graffiti there. And he's like, and then you're gonna go right on Columbus or some shit. And he's like, don't do graffiti there. He's like being a smartass, right? And then he's like, then you go straight, and then you'll end up at the courthouse. And then I was like, and then we do graffiti. And he was like, and then I'll kick your ass or some shit.
Throwing it right back at him.
And then they were like, you got to do like 1,000 hours community service or some shit. And I was like,
1,000? That's
some bullshit like that. I was like, I'll see you next week. And I never went back.
So you're not going to Boston anytime soon?
We've had Baker trips on there. I'm like, hey, I got to get out in Rhode Island or some shit. They're like, why? We need you for the demo to announce that shit. I was like, I ain't going to that one.
What's the statute of limitations on that? Like, doesn't it run out or something after a while?
Yeah, but that shit pops back up.
Does it?
That's just from the movies.
Okay.
Was that a long time ago?
Yeah, that was in like probably 2007 or something.
I wonder if there's a way to check. Is there a way to check, like if you have like a warrant out in some place?
There's an app for it.
There's an app for it.
There's an app for it. No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I don't need to go back to Boston.
I get you.
It's all good.
Well, Plymouth Rock, you could. That's there if you want to tag on that.
Plymouth Rock. I don't know what that is. That sounds like a drug. And then the other time I got arrested, this is the gnarliest one.
Oh, okay.
Miami,
Ooh.
Dade County.
Damn.
Fucking gnarly, dude. That is the gnarliest jail I have ever been to in my life.
What made it so gnarly?
All the people in there, holy shit. It was, dude, that place is fucking crazy. Overcrowded. Fools are wilding out. It's like every Rick Ross rap coming to life. Like crazy, dude. So what we were doing, like, we went for Art Basel. That's why people always they invite me to Art Basel. I'm like, every time I go to Art Basel, I go to jail. I ain't trying to go to no Art Basel, dude.
Yeah.
I get wrapped up on some dumb shit. But we were like being bad, dude. We play this game called High Stakes, where it's like, high stakes is like, I do something and the next person does something. They gotta one up you.
One up it.
So this fool lights off fireworks on the sidewalk on South Beach, like on the main street where fucking like Versace got killed or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lights off fireworks, some mortars and shit, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it right in the middle of the medium. I'm gonna do it in the middle of the street. And boom, like I'd light them off in the middle of the street, and they're going off, and people are like, dude, we should have got arrested like 20 times before we actually did.
Oh, shit.
And then it got to the point where we were shooting mortars at fucking dudes driving by in convertibles and shit. We're like, shooting shit at people driving by in cars and shit. Like,
this must have been around 4th of July.
Nah, I always have fireworks, remember?
My bad. Oh yeah, M80s. That's right. That's
In his
right.
pocket.
I stay strapped.
Okay.
So we were being bad, dude. We should have went to jail like 20 times before we actually did. And then so later on in the night, we have like a big ass bottle of Grey Goose, and we're like thinking about painting. We're like, let's go check out this spot to go paint. and it's like this abandoned like building or something. And we jump over the fence, and we're like looking like, oh yeah, you could maybe do something right here. I'll do something over here, whatever. We don't even have paint on us. And then we're in there, and then fucking like 5 cops jump over the fence with guns drawn. And they're like, on the ground, fucking da-da-da, all this shit. And I'm like, I was already like kind of by the fence. I was like, oh shit. So they didn't see me. I dipped by the fence, like the fence we climbed over. Say this is the fence.
Yeah.
Fence we climbed over. I laid down in the crack of the fence.
Oh, wow.
Right? In the dirt.
Try to lay low.
I'm laying low, and I always wear black, obviously.
Yeah.
And then my friends are getting bagged, and they got handcuffed and shit, and they open up the fence, and in Miami, it's a felony trespassing charge over there, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Trespassing.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching these fools get arrested in the crack of this fence. I'm like, oh shit, I'm scot free. Like this fool didn't see me, and this fool climbs over climbs right over me. Like I'm laying there, and the dude climbs right over me, and he's climbing over the fence. And when he's like almost over the fence, he looks down and sees me.
Oh,
he's like,
no.
you motherfucker, he says. And he lets go and drops from the fucking 12-foot fence or whatever onto his knee, onto my chest. Bow!
Oh.
And he gets my ass and fucking, he's like, you thought you could get away or some shit? And I was
You're like, you
"Fuck."
almost did.
Like,
Yeah.
I took a nap.
Fuck.
So I get fucking hemmed up, and once again, I'm in jail with these dudes that are
Your
my
buddies.
homies, right?
Yeah.
And we're all in there at the same time. Thank God that we're in there together, because Dade County's no joke. And so we go to jail, right? And we're in the felony cell. Like there's like felons here, and there's misdemeanors over here. Like, and then these fools come out with the fucking big ass jug of red water. It's like Kool-Aid. They were calling it Jim Jones in there.
Okay.
Like, give us that Jim
Okay.
Jones. And they're like, you get free Kool-Aid pretty much, right? And then they gave it to the misdemeanors, their cell. They had it first, and they're like filling up their cup and shit. And then all these fools in the felon cell, they're like, hey, like give us the fucking bring that Jim Jones over here. We're felons. We got a crazier charge. We got a bigger charge. Why don't we get it first? Like whatever, right? And then while we're in there, there's like all these barracks or whatever where they sit up and shit. And at the top, there's this big ass white dude. Like, you seen Mindhunter?
Oh yeah.
There's that big white dude.
Yeah.
And he's got glasses on and shit.
Big ass.
This
fool.
dude looked like that.
Oh shit.
And he's sitting at the top by himself, right? And then everyone's like, I don't know what the fuck that dude did. He was just like sitting there like this, just like
Staring.
yeah.
Did not
we're
look
like,
good,
we
yeah.
ain't fucking with that guy.
Yeah.
And then so we get the Jim Jones, the water, drinking it, and then there's this kid in there who was like a little skinny, like hipster kid, and then he had like a M&M's vintage shirt on, the candy M&M's,
Yeah.
not the dude.
Yeah.
And then he's like, the dude's crying in jail. He's like, shirt over his face, he's like,
Oh shit.
he's crying like that. And I was like, oh my God, dude. The one place you're not supposed to cry is here. Like, you idiot. Like, what the, like, and then he's like crying, like bawling and shit. And then like these huge ass dudes were like, shut the fuck up, motherfucker. Like, motherfuckers in here got real reason to cry. Shut the fuck up. And he's like, I don't care. He's like, my mom's getting me out of here. And then they'd be like, motherfuckers in here don't have moms. Like, they were going off on this dude, right? And then they started spitting on this dude.
Oh, wow.
And they were calling him Prince, and he's just getting picked on. And good thing he was in there, because they would have been fucking picking on us.
Yeah.
Oh, he took it away.
He took the heat,
took
dude.
the heat.
They're like spitting on him and shit. They're like, shut the fuck up. And just being gnarly to this dude. And he was like, I was like, dude, that's your bad. You ain't supposed to be crying in jail.
Yeah.
Like, watch a movie or some
Right.
shit. Like,
Jeez.
that shit is real. And basically towards the end of the bid there, like, we seen this dude on pockets. And what on pockets means is he was holding this dude's pocket.
Fuck.
And he's like, the dude's like walking around talking like, motherfuckers, just whatever. And then this dude's holding his pocket. He's reversed pocket.
Yeah.
His pocket's hanging out, and this dude has to hold, he's basically his bitch. And he's holding this dude's pocket. And I don't know what the fuck was happening, but he was like, maybe he was like protecting him, or he's like, this is my bitch or some shit. But yeah, he was on pockets. And then like, I'm in there so bored with my homies, and we got fucking, they're giving us like bologna sandwiches and shit. And then like, I ain't eating no bologna sandwiches or whatever. So I take the bread and I'm like making sculptures out of the bread and shit. I'm like Escape from Alcatraz and shit. I'm trying to make my own head out of bread. Right. But now we're making sculptures out of the bread and shit. And there was like, we had like a little game, like making little bread balls and throwing them into like this cup. Okay. Like just occupying our time, right? And then we get thrown into general population, and we're like, they give us a uniform. Like we straight got uniforms and shit. And we're in there, and these fools are watching Florida State versus whatever, some other Miami team or some shit. And it's going off in there. It's like fucking the beginning of Scarface, you know, when they're all in that fucking, that camp or whatever. Yeah. It's like that times 10. Crazy. They're like, my fucking cousin's number 10. My cousin's number 42. Like, look at that motherfucker. Wow. Like, I went to school with that dude or some shit. Yeah. And then there's one dude, like, the way they changed the channel is they had a big ass stick and they fucking would change the channel. Like, the TV was way over there, like in the guards room and shit. Like, that, they would let them watch TV and it was in black and white. And then it's time to go to sleep. And there's all these bunk beds. Boom, boom, bunk beds everywhere. I'm like, shit, I got to find a place to sleep. So I go to this bunk bed that looks open to me. I go to the bottom bunk. And I lay down in this bunk. And then this huge dude comes up to me. He's like, hey, man. He's like, that's my bed. And I was like, all right. And I was like, is anyone sleeping under it? And he's like, that's all you. I was like, all right.
Under the bottom bunk.
I'm under the bottom bunk, dude. My face is this close to the fucking, this dude's ass. Sleeping at night like this, away. Right? And then eventually our homie who's from Miami, his aunt or somebody bailed us out, right? And we all get let out individually. Okay. And then we get out, or I get out maybe second or first, I can't remember, but I get out. And I get all my shit, and I go like, I go to the window and get you get your shit back or whatever. And then there was like fools like already ready to go back to hustling. They were like, man, I fucking lost so much money being in there for 4 days. Like I gotta get back on the streets. Fucking, I was like, God damn, you just got out, right? And so I get my shit. I don't know where the fuck I am in Miami. I get out, I go like this. I look that way and I look this way. I was like, I'm going that way. I fucking start running. Start running. I just start running. I don't know which way I'm going. I run like fucking 10, 15 blocks away from jail. That's how gnarly it was. I was like, I just got to get away from here. I just ran as far as I could before I figured anything out. And then figured out where I was at. And these dudes are like, yo, we're at this party or some shit. And I was like, all right, I'm coming. And I go to the fucking liquor store and I get Pro Club everything. Pro Club white tee, boxers, shirt. I ditched all my jail clothes and shit. And then I show up at this party and I might have still had like a bracelet on or some shit from jail. And then fools are like, where were you at? Like, I just got out. I'm out. I just got out on bail or some shit. And they're like, what? And it just turned into like this crazy party and shit. And then, God damn. And then like, months later, maybe a year later or some shit, I'm at this big ass party at the Bowery Hotel in New York, and I'm with this girl, and then I'm like trying to impress this girl, and then this dude comes up to me, fucking hipster kid with the soggy beanie, you know the beanies that draped back and shit, super weak, and he had some like weak ass fucking leather jacket on, like so whack. So this dude comes up to me, he's like, hey man, he's like, you remember me? And I was like, no. And then he's like, we were locked up together. And I was like, that's Prince, dude.
That was the kid who was crying.
Like, that's him. And then he was like, yeah, we were locked up together. There's fucking whatever, all this, talking all this shit, right? And I was like, all right, dude, cool. Yeah. And then he takes off, right? And then this girl was like, oh my God, you were locked up with him? Like, who's that guy or some shit? I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, let me tell you something about this dude. First of all, they were calling this fool Prince and spitting on him in jail, so he ain't even that tight. Yeah. So don't even think that dude's sick or whatever. I was like, oh my that dude's God. The weakest dude ever. And then she wasn't impressed with him anymore. Yeah, called him out.
Wait, what about so when people ask you what you did in prison or like in jail, whatever, not prison, but like, do you switch it up based on the person that's asking you or what you think they would think of you?
I tell them like in life, part 2 of my killing spree is about to go down right now. You ever seen Life?
No.
They're like just all talking, like they all went in on some bullshit and like you're the why you saying shit? You're the one who killed Santa Claus, like all this shit. So, but yeah, I mean, I was switching it up. I don't know.
I don't know.
Play it by ear, dude.
Right.
Go there and you'll see what happens.
Yeah. What was Prince in there for?
Oh, he had coke on him.
Oh,
Cocaine. That's Sean White.